Bitcoin ETF versus Bitcoin. So you've just purchased a large amount of Bitcoin and are now wondering, oh my god, what the hell is going on here? Guys, if you were a part of the 13 market swings, you should have shorted the heck out of it today using ticker symbols like CoinMSTR and so on. But why should you, gentlemen, be shorting the Bitcoin ETF? That's what I'll show you, so stay tuned. What is the history of Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a sort of digital currency that arose following the financial crisis of 2008. It enables consumers to avoid using traditional payment channels such as banks. Among the thousands of so-called cryptocurrencies, it has become the most well-known. It is based on blockchain technology, which is a shared database of transactions that must be verified and encrypted. Individuals known as miners protect the network by verifying transactions using high-powered computers in exchange for bitcoins. There are almost 18 million in circulation, and the mathematical system that controls the creation of new bitcoins, which is decentralized and hence lacks an overarching institution like a central bank, has a hardwired maximum of 21 million coins. A historical chart may sometimes give you a perspective that 1,000 words cannot, and we'll show you the history of Bitcoin in this short video. This is what was happening in 2017 when everyone was anticipating Bitcoin to trade its futures for the first time. Back in December 2017, there was all this buzz and all of these optimistic months, October and November, where Bitcoin literally took off in 2017 from the 3,000 level and rocketed all the way up and then rocketed all the way up again. You must understand that things like Bitcoin, forgive me for using the word things, I'm using it to describe any asset or commodity that you're trading. What is a Bitcoin ETF? In this case, it has been eagerly anticipated for a long time. I'm referring to the Bitcoin ETF, which was finally released on October 19th. You wouldn't believe it, but it is finally occurring. It should be moving up. However, the exact reverse is about to happen. Things altered with a bigger percentage on the 19th of October, which was yesterday. If you were paying attention, you would have spotted this and would have made a mint by now, simply shorting certain Bitcoin-related names as they rose to the top. By the way, we'll show you a live recording of some of those deals, so if you're new to this channel, make sure you stick around until the end because I might be talking about something else. But why is this happening in the first place? As a result, the market has been anticipating this event as a major positive catalyst. But surely all the anticipation has already been factored in? That was the high when Bitcoin was trading between $17,000 and $20,000 in December 2017. So when futures started trading on Bitcoin, it was a big deal. For the first time in my life, I had a small amount of positive momentum for a couple of days, and then something happened. As a result, Bitcoin's behavior should be pretty similar. Bitcoin is becoming incredibly simple to trade. Guys, this was one of the easiest trades ever to be on the short side of Bitcoin if you understand the patterns and behaviors, as well as the 13 market swings. For those of you who have been sleeping under a rock, the Bitcoin ETF, which was introduced today, is trading under the ticker BITO, and the first response has been overwhelmingly positive. You should always trade in the opposite direction of the initial reaction because you should always bet against it. And the initial reaction was strong, going from $40 to 80 cents to $42. When a lot of hypes become public, they shoot up a little higher at first and then sell off. And that's what happens a lot of the time when there's a lot of hype about something and the expectations are simply far too high. As a result, we nailed the top this time. This was very large for the day, but we still have plenty of room to run, which is why we're giving you the video. Guys, I believe it is still possible to short Bitcoin at the current price of $62,63,000. It's still possible to short BITO above the 40-point level. It's not too late to shoot coins and MSTR. These things, based on this history chart, still have a lot of room to fall, but don't anticipate it to happen all at once. It's probable that the momentum will shift bearish and then accelerate. So it's not too late, because the major move lower is just around the corner, and it'll most likely be on the low. It may fall, therefore, we'll take a look at the present chart. We have the most up-to-date information on Bitcoin futures right on top, so we can easily drop to around 49,000 in the following 7 days. If Bitcoin's history repeats itself 90% of the time, it wouldn't be surprising at all. Just to think about all the Tesla announcements, I'll toss in another example. Let's call this an event, because things have a habit of running into events. Assume a corporation has made an announcement. Let's assume Tesla gets a new model while we're announcing a new truck and the stock price plummets. As a result, it accelerates. All of the expectations are high here, so what happens after Tesla announces the truck event? Everything is fantastic, but the stock market is in free fall. As a result, this phenomenon is a trading behavior pattern. As a result, people will purchase items in preparation for the occasion. The Federal Reserve meeting announcing the interest rate increases or policy changes, as announced by Apple via the iPhone, will be a widely anticipated event. So you might be pricing particular items to go to an event, but once the event happens, you'll often get the opposite reaction, and this will often be followed by the news media. I believe the ETF will be announced in the media and things will become more intense and higher, and according to all these analysts, the same Bitcoin is now worth $200,000. It's going to become real, and this is sort of the pinnacle of the hype, and clearly if you don't want to be, but you can't help it as an individual dealing with emotions and facing all these things, you can't help but be caught up in it. But that's exactly what you have to do. If you want to be a great trader, you must be able to distinguish between these types of behavioral patterns that culminate at the same time as what you see in the news, because you will frequently earn a lot more money betting against those types of movements. Is Bitcoin ETFs a good investment? A Bitcoin exchange-traded fund is now available to purchase. Or, more precisely, a Bitcoin derivatives ETF, the ProShares Bitcoin strategy, which uses futures contracts to try to capture cryptocurrency profits, began trading yesterday. I'm sure this is excellent news for someone, but it's hard to think of a less enticing financial product on the surface. An ETF's original purpose was to provide a low-cost mechanism to get the beta available in a given market, beta that would be difficult to capture otherwise. It would be a pain in the arse for me to replicate the Russell 3000's return at home, but Vanguard's ETF does a near-perfect job for me for only 10 basis points. The Bitcoin strategy is an expensive technique to catch part of the beta in a market that might easily be captured in a more efficient manner in another way. A 1% yearly fee is charged. It gets its exposure to price movements in Bitcoin from short-term Bitcoin futures contracts, which means it has to sell expiring contracts and buy new ones on a regular basis. Because longer-term contracts are typically more expensive than shorter-term contracts, rolling them over causes a performance drag that has been estimated to be in the range of 5 to 10% every year. The prospects of the ETF performing as well as Bitcoin are quite slim. Given that I can go to a crypto exchange and buy Bitcoins directly, enjoy all of the digital assets' performance, and pay a lesser charge, this is not very appealing. So, if you want to learn more about how to do it with a lot more confidence, skill, and truly nailing the exact timing of these kinds of circumstances, make sure you understand this better. Many thanks to everyone who came to see. For the time being, that's all I have to say. Please share your thoughts on all of these, particularly the Bitcoin ETF, in the comments area. In the meanwhile, I hope you found this video to be entertaining. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and make sure that your post notifications are turned on so that you may always be the first to know when a new video is posted. Keep an eye out for our next video, and we'll see you then.